it. I'll try not to focus on. Okay, I'll
Okay,
try not
Mr.
to focus
Paul.
too much on. Can you hear
All the
me?
best.
Okay. I'll try not to focus too much on myself because the whole point of all this is to talk about ways that we can learn English better. I've been to India many, many times, so I'm very familiar with Indian culture. And unfortunately, of the 7 times I've been to India, I have not made it to Kerala. I do hope that one day I will be in Kerala again. And one of the things that I have noticed, and this has happened in many, many countries that I've gone to all over the world, and I've been to 30 countries in my travel experiences, including India 7 times. I've been to Israel 7 times. I've been to Egypt probably at least 10 to 15 times. I've lost track of the number of times I've gone over there. And on each trip, I noticed that people were able to communicate with me because of the English language. And each time I was able to communicate with them much easier, which meant that younger people were learning English and communicating with each other. So I then began to realize that the importance of English. And several years ago, I started working with people that were learning English for us as a second language. And what I've learned in the process of going to India my multiple times is that people are learning English not as a second language, but rather as a third, fourth, or even fifth language. So that tells me that something is happening, whether it be in India or other countries, that is leading to the point of where everybody is setting that goal of learning English at a younger age. And they're insisting on their children to learn English. So having said that, what I'd like to talk about is ideas to learning English. And these ideas are not necessarily unique ideas, and they're not necessarily the right ideas for you. And what I mean by that is each of us, as you all know, each of you are unique. Everybody here learns differently. And recognizing the fact that you learn differently than the person next to you, whether it be your spouse, your boyfriend, girlfriend, your sister, brother, cousin, we all learn differently. So I want to talk about different ideas of learning, and it's up to you to figure out which learning method will be best for you. One thing that we all have in common is setting goals. Those goals have to be realistic to learning, in this case, learning English. But they have to be realistic to goals that you can set for yourself, not necessarily goals that I can set for you, or goals that your mother or father, brother, sister can set for you, or even a teacher in school can set for you. So there's different parts to communication. One is conversation, which includes speaking. There's another part that deals with reading. Yet another part deals with writing. And what they all have in common is they all require persistence. They all require you to decide which method specifically will work for you. Okay, so let's talk about some of those things. Speaking. I've had many people from all over the world say to me, I want to learn English and I want to speak like a British person, or I want to speak like an American. And I laugh and I say, no, that's an unrealistic goal. It's as unrealistic as me telling you to speak in perfect Hindi if Hindi is not your native language. It would be as unrealistic of a goal for me to say that you should speak in Tamil if Tamil is not your native language. So let's not focus on accents, because in my mind, accenting is the least important. The most important is the goal that you set for yourself for learning. Now, I have spoken to many people and I've asked them, what works best for you? some people tell me, but it always seems to combine two ideas, whether it's reading, whether it's learning grammar, or whether it's writing and listening and speaking. There are many different combinations that we can do. Again, the question becomes, which is the best combination for you? Now, I've heard many, many complaints from people, and the complaints are the grammar. It's boring. It's unnecessary. It puts me to sleep. I can't do this. It's too hard. I just want to learn English, and yet I'm being forced to learn all this grammar. Why, why, why? I honestly don't know why. And the reason why I don't know why is because I never learned grammar growing up.
Sure you did.
When I learned English,
You
I
did.
learned English well, I did, but
You
I
learned
didn't
it.
know I was learning it. I didn't know I was learning it.
Exactly.
I heard it. I
You
heard
knew it.
English being spoken. I want to stop for a moment because I hear a few people in the background,
Mr.
and
Bob,
I want to hear what you're saying in the background. Yes.
sorry for the interruption. Let me just call or hello, Nancy, are you here? Nancy?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Mr. Bob, if you don't mind, can we just give an opportunity for our
Absolutely.
great teacher, Miss Nancy, to talk to our members for a short time?
Yes.
Okay, Nancy.
Bob, I think we all learn grammar and we all learn English from the time we're at least 3 years old. We learn with games and we learn playing. And we learn without even realizing we're learning it.
Unfortunately,
Correct.
Nancy, your camera is off. Okay. Now it's okay.
Oh, is it okay?
Now it's okay. Can you please follow me? Please turn your mobile phone like this in a landscape mode.
Oh, baby, I have no. Is that better? No.
Yeah, it's perfect now. Mr. Bob, please wait a moment. Oh, okay, Nancy.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, just introduce yourself. We
Hi.
are really glad to know something about you.
My name is Nancy. I'm 62. I was raised in New Jersey. I used to work in Manhattan. I now live in Florida for about 36 years. I have 4 children, about a dozen grandchildren. I work for a very, very, very big entertainment company in Central Florida, and I deal with international guests every day.
So do you meet people from different countries in the world every day?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever talked to Indians? I mean, directly?
Oh, absolutely. I would say last month ago, we had an international student working with us. His name was Lal, and we had him with us for about maybe 2 or 3 months before he went back over to India.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Going back to Mr. Bob. Hello, Mr. Bob. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So, sorry for the interruption because Nancy, she joined here so that I would like to know something about her for our members.
Okay.
So Nancy,
And one thing I skipped.
please stay here. Mr.
Oh,
Bob will talk to us and let's listen to him. And I hope that Mr. Bob will ask questions to our members because they are eagerly waiting to talk to you. So please switch on. Please give them opportunity.
Absolutely. So thank you, Nancy, because you made me realize I skipped over talking about who I am and where I live. I also live in Florida, and I grew up actually in Michigan, a northern Midwest state of the United States, and I've lived in Florida for the last 20 years. I work for insurance companies writing risk reports. I'm a technical writer, and I write professionally risk reports. And I go into many different businesses. I go into homeowners associations. I go into large condo complexes. I go into factories, into many different aspects of businesses, and I look for issues. And I look for all sorts of problems, while at the same time looking for what are they doing right and what are they doing different from everybody else that might lower their risk. So that's what I do. That's my background. So here I am now talking to you, and I've been to many, many countries throughout the world and trying to just basically pick up on different cultures because I enjoy working with different cultures. My wife and I, we had foreign exchange students. 3 of them came from India. One of the kids was from Chennai. And we had a student from Pune and Maharashtra, which is in Maharashtra. And anyways, so getting back to learning English,
Well,
what I want to talk about is, oh, I'm sorry, what's that?
can we allow learners to ask you simple questions? Can they ask you questions?
Okay. Please. Anyone have some
Okay.
questions?
നമ്മുടെ ഈ Zoom മീറ്റിംഗിൽ ജോയിൻ ചെയ്ത് I'm sorry to speak our mother tongue Malayalam to better access. നമ്മുടെ ഈ പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോമിൽ ജോയിൻ ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ള ആർക്കെങ്കിലും ഇവരോട് സംസാരിക്കാൻ പേഴ്സണൽ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ഒരിക്കലും ചോദിക്കാൻ പാടില്ല. മറ്റ് ചോദ്യങ്ങൾ ചോദിക്കാം. Now we would like to listen to your questions to you can ask to Nancy or Mr. Bob, no worries. And we have some other foreigners here and they'll also talk to you. നമുക്ക് മറ്റു രാജ്യങ്ങളിൽ നിന്ന് Anna from Indonesia and English teacher Akhtar Abbas from Pakistan അവരും join ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. Okay. So please ask questions. ചോദിക്കാൻ ആരും പേടിക്കൊന്നും വേണ്ട. നിങ്ങളുടെ ചോദ്യം തെറ്റായിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അവർക്ക് അതൊക്കെ മനസ്സിലാവും. They are great personalities. They will understand your level. So don't worry about asking questions.
Hi, Robin. Hi, Nancy. Rajesh here. Hi. Good morning.
Hi.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You
For
remembered
me,
it's
good
morning
evening.
here.
Yeah. For me, good evening. Actually, I'm
Yes.
staying in Saudi Arabia. Now time is 5:55 here. About to 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Nice meet you. First time I talked with the foreign personality. First time I'm talking. Thank you for Rauf. Give an opportunity to speak. And thank you for GESTO English Coach International Coach Institute. So give an opportunity to talk at the eminent personality Robin and Nancy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Rajesh,
And
do you have any question?
Yeah. Actually here the weather here summer turned to cold. Summer turned to weather condition now. Little bit last summer, the extreme hot was last 2 months. And what is about you that USA now the weather condition, Robin and Nancy? Robin, could you
Nancy,
explain what is weather? Yeah, weather condition.
Okay, well, I live in Florida and so does Nancy. So speaking for the two of us, basically we see rain almost daily. Right now it's summertime and our winter is kind of like Kerala as far as how cold it gets. It really does not get very cold here. It does not snow. Typically, the weather conditions is very warm. I wear short sleeves almost the entire year. Very rarely will you ever see me with a long sleeve shirt or wearing a jacket. We do have approximately 1 week, 1 or 2 weeks where it gets really cold, where I have to put on a jacket and we're outside. But that's Florida weather. Now, if we go north, all of a sudden the weather starts to change and it gets colder and colder and colder. And Right now, we're experiencing hurricanes we experienced hurricanes in the Carolinas. A couple weeks ago, we had hurricane weather, which is similar to a typhoon in Asia, where the weather just comes down. It basically beats us up with extreme winds and extreme rain, and we have to take, of course, necessary precautions. Overall, I'd like to think that our buildings are well built, but the reality is that any building that gets hit with wind speeds of 200 kilometers per hour is going to have damages. But right.
Okay, now let's listen to Nancy.
What part of Florida are you in, Bob? Because I'm in Central Florida, and we do pretty good as far as storms go. But he's absolutely correct. The weather here is always very warm. We're warm to hot. My weather is very comparable to Morocco, is what I think.
Nancy, could you please talk something about your climate or the weather condition in Florida or your city?
Florida's weather is hot and warm. We only have a few weeks, if that, of winter. Florida is a very big state and has 3 different weathers in it. Northern Florida gets snow, Central Florida does not, and Miami does not either. But we do have the tropical storms.
All right. So let's move on to another foreign faculty from Indonesia and Pakistan. Hello, Mr. Aksar Abbas and Anna. Are you available to talk? Just have a self-introduction for our members.
Yes. Yes, sir. Hello, everyone. I hope you all are doing well. My name is Akhtar Abbas. I'm 26 years old. By profession, I'm a teacher, and I have been teaching for 6 years. Currently, I'm serving as a section head and a vice principal of Parme Public School, Nagar.
Right.
That's all.
Mr. Aksar Abbas, I think you have a power shortage in your house. No worries. Miss Anna, can you please talk something about yourself?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rauf. So, hello everyone. My name is Anna. I'm from Indonesia. I am a teacher in Indonesia. So, yeah, almost every day I go to school and I always taking care of my 2 daughters. That all about me. Thank you.
Okay. Now, dear members, you can ask questions to either to Nancy or Mr. Paul. Both are available right now to talk to and to clarify your questions. Any questions regarding English learning process are welcomed.
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, I'm Suresh from Kerala. Hello.
Suresh, you don't want to say hello many times. We are perfectly listening to you. You are audible. So please, please continue.
I am working.
Okay, വേറെ ആർക്കാണ് ചോദ്യം ചോദിക്കാനുള്ളത്? Anybody, please. നിങ്ങൾ മലയാളത്തിൽ ചോദിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഞാൻ അത് ട്രാൻസ്ലേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാം. If you have problem in English.
ഇന്തോനേഷ്യയെ പറ്റി ബ്രീഫ് ചുരുക്കി ഒന്ന് പറയാ. ഇന്തോനേഷ്യയെ പറ്റി, നേഷനെ പറ്റി. Hello, sir. Can I ask the question? Suresh, for Suresh?
Sure.
Yeah. Who faculty from Indonesia? Anu? Yes, madam.
Me,
From
Indonesia.
Yeah. Anna Yudha. Okay. Ma'am, good evening. Rajesh here from Saudi Arabia. Behalf of Suresh asking, telling something about Indonesia. Small brief about Indonesia. That was
Something.
yeah. Something about Indonesia, so we can get Indonesia. We only know Indonesia, but we don't know how population, how weather, and yeah.
Okay, thank you for Mr. Rajesh. Indonesia, actually, it is Asian, so I think almost all people know about Indonesia, about Bali. Here, I stay near Bali. Why I take Bali? Because I think it is almost all people know about Bali. So actually, not only Bali, we have a lot of islands here. Almost 5 islands like Java, Kalimantan, and then Sumatra and Irian, and Bali also. Just small island in Indonesia. So if we
Okay, thank you, Miss Sana. I think your voice is breaking, not perfect anyway. We will talk more about Indonesia. Our ultimate goal is not to talk about different countries. We will have international Zoom meetings, and there will be a lot of Indonesians. You can ask different questions regarding their nation, their culture, their religion, their food, their lifestyle, many more. But now, I would like to know about. You can ask questions regarding English learning. Why don't you
Hi,
ask questions
I want.
regarding English learning? Please
Sir,
give opportunities to everybody to talk.
Hi, I have a
sir, may
question.
I
If
may
you
I
don't
ask
mind,
a question?
Yes, Mohammed and you. Yes,
is it audible?
yeah, you are.
So I want to ask a question to Mr. Roby.
Mr. Yeah. Yes, Mr. Bob. Yeah, ask.
So my name is Mohammed, and I'm a student. So my question is, there are mainly two, but mainly two streams in English, like British English and also American English, right? Is it audible?
Yes, yes. British English and American
So,
English. What's your question?
So my question is, my English always would be like in my Indian accent. Is that a really problem? Should I really care about American accent or British accent? Is that the real English, or
Okay, Nancy.
can I speak it? Is that my question is clear?
Okay.
I don't think your accent sounds wonderful. Your accent is a fingerprint of who you are. You do not want to sound like myself or like Bob. You want to sound like you.
Perfect. So we don't want to bother about our accent, whether
No.
it is Indian accent, American accent, Australian, British. No worries. You can talk
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you. Be unique.
Yeah. Unique. Yes.
But you can follow British accent, British or American, no worries. Mr. Bob, what do you think about it? You are expert in accent, so you can add more. Your voice, you are unmute. Please unmute. Turn on the mic, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Okay, so everything Nancy said is absolutely correct. Accents are absolutely irrelevant. The main thing, of course, is being able to communicate with each other. So I don't care if you speak if you speak English with an Indian accent or a Pakistani accent or an Indonesian accent, none of that matters as long as you are clear. But I want to answer kind of an offshoot question that stems from your question in regards to British English versus American English. English is an international language. Whether you speak it with whether you use British style words, and there are some words that are unique to British English, or whether you use American style words, and there are some words that are unique to American English. Even the spelling of some words may be different in American English versus British English. And Indian English, for example, tends to use the British way of spelling. The only time that the difference in spelling is going to make a difference is if you are attending a university, let's say in Canada or in the United States, where you must use American style English. Otherwise, nobody cares and nobody is going to bother you whether you spell a word in a British way versus the American English way. 99% of the vocabulary words, 99.9% of all the vocabulary words are the same between British English and American English. There are a few differences. And I want to tell over a quick story about when I went to India for my first time, and I was in Chennai. I got picked up at the airport by a close friend, and he took me to a street, a residential street, and he told me that from here we will take a lift.
Mr. Bob,
And yes,
please listen, everybody. Our Zoom meeting link will be disconnecting shortly, so please rejoin by clicking the same link. You can click the same link and rejoin. Okay.
so he said that from here we will take a lift. My American English kicked in, and I thought to myself, well, we just drove here in his car. We're in the middle of a residential neighborhood, and now we need to take a taxi cab, an Uber to where we have to go. That didn't make sense. And then he took my bags from the car, and we started walking into a building, and he pressed what I called the elevator, but what he called the lift. And that was my first time at experiencing British English, because a lift in American English means something very different than a lift in British English. My point is, if you take away those few exception words, it doesn't matter whether you learn British English or American English. But my advice is for you to focus in on the particular English if your intentions are to study or